guys, welcome. I'm Jenna and today I'm doing a little review for you. So today I'm reviewing the Ulta 3, the Contour Dream Team palette. So this is part of their Opulent Oasis collection. They do have two different types of these palettes. So they've got this one which has the two bronzer shades or contour shades, two blushes and then two highlighters, but they also have just like a contouring one which basically looks like this. This is the powder version of it, but they just released a cream which essentially looks the same, obviously just in creams. So I didn't pick that one up because I do have the powder one. So I thought I would review this one for you. As you can see, I've already used it a bunch of times. I already have thoughts, but I wanted to use it on camera for you so you could see how it applies, how it blends, all of that. And I will give you my thoughts on it. So I'm thinking what I'll do is use a brush on this side of my face and then use a sponge on this side of my face so you can see how the products apply both ways. For the brush, I'm using my Spectrum B02 brush. It's kind of like a flat, I think this is meant to be like a base brush, like a foundation brush, but I love this for cream bronzer, so I'm going to use that one. Now with bronzer shades, you've got the two here. You've got the more warm toned one and then you've got a cooler toned one. I can get away with both of them, but I tend to prefer the warmer toned one, so that's what I'm going to use today. I'm literally just going to tap my brush into there. I haven't used this brush for this particular cream formula, so I'm hoping it works out well, but we'll see. So I don't know if it's coming up on camera there, but it does look slightly orange when you initially put it on, but as you start blending it, it kind of like just melts into the skin and doesn't look orange, which is absolutely perfect. That's exactly what I want. But did you see how quickly that just blended in? Another really good brush that I like using is the Spectrum B05 brush. This is really good for like smaller areas that you want to blend in, but I'm just using this big chonker today. I might actually use my little guy up the top just so you can see. Now, if you're hearing a lot of background noise, I got both kids in here with me. One is at home sick and the baby's a baby, so she constantly makes noise. But just to give you a heads up, that just looks so natural, right? And I'm in natural light. I do have I've got my my mirror light on, which I always do anyway. I do have my ring light on, but it's really not doing anything because the sun's out now. It looks so natural, right? Oh, so pretty. All right, I'm just going to turn this light on so I can actually see what I'm doing. And I'm going to apply it with a sponge on this side. So I'm just using my Spectrum sponge. This is one of their mini sponges, just so I have a little bit more precision. And I'm going to go, should I use the darker one actually? Yeah, I might use the darker one just so you can see what that one looks like as well. So I'm just kind of pushing it and twisting it so you can see that I'm getting a lot of product on there. So like I said, this is the darker one. I don't know why I went so ham into that because I knew it was darker, but I did it anyway. All right. Okay, lighter hand with that one would have been better. Just taking a plain side. Okay, that's a bit better. Considering how heavy a hand I used with that initial application, it's blended out pretty nicely. It looks less natural than this side, of course, but still looks pretty nice. I have to say that I much prefer how not just this cream formula, but pretty much any cream bronzer that I use, I much prefer how they look when I use a brush rather than a sponge. but that's just personal preference. All right, so for blush, we've got two options here. We've got this one and then we've got this one, although this one's very sort of shimmery. It's almost like a hybrid between this and the highlighters. I've swatched it on the back of my hand here. Do you see how kind of highlighty it is? I think what I'm going to do is apply this one on this side and this one on this side and see how we go, because I really haven't used that as a blush before. And I'm going to use a brush for this one. I have used this a bunch of times with just the bottom of a beauty sponge, and it works really nicely. It blends out like a dream. Very pigmented, but blends out really nicely. So I'm just going to use a brush because I haven't used a brush before. I think I prefer that with a beauty sponge actually, rather than that. It could have just been because I put way too much on there, but I just prefer how it looks with a sponge. Now, how should I use this other one on this side? Because I don't think I've used that on my face. I've just swatched it before. I might just use the bottom of this beauty sponge and we'll see. I'm just worried it's going to look sort of like chunky. Oh no, that looks nice. Very subtle, but nice and glowy. Ooh, I like. This does remind me a little bit of this MCO Beauty, what is it called? Highlight and Glow Beauty Wand. This is in the shade Peach Glow. This one just has more pigment to it. It's less glowy and more pigmented. Still has a lot of glow to it though, but that's really pretty. I'm finding that with this shade, it is kind of easy to blend a little bit. It's a bit too blendable. So I already feel like I've lost a little bit of the color, because I've, just been tapping it with my sponge. Let's just pop a bit more on and see if we can build it. Yes, we can. That's really pretty. Cool. Excellent. Now, these highlighters, I have used these once or twice. I'm not the hugest fan of this highlight formula, just because this is going to look real chunky because I went way too hard into the pan. But they kind of, it's hard to explain. Like, the swatches are really pretty and really pigmented, if it will focus on the swatches. So see how nice and pigmented they look. But then, I don't know, it kind of, I'll just show you. I'll see if it could just completely change my mind. But I just feel like as it blends out, let me see if it'll do it on the back of my hand. Yeah, like as it blends out, it almost like accentuates texture a little bit. It looks a little bit texturized. I don't know if that comes across on camera, but that's sort of how it looks in real life. But I am going to put some on my face anyway. I think I'll use this one, which is more of a champagne-y one. And I'm just going to tap it out with my finger and see how that goes. Oh, I've put way too much on there. It does look really nice, actually. I take it back. Now that I've pushed it into the skin, maybe the first time I used them, I used a beauty sponge and it just didn't blend them into the skin very well. I don't know. But that does look really nice. I'm just going to put some over the top here. All right, I'm just going to put some up the tip up the tip, up the middle of my nose. And again, I'm just tapping it with my fingers. Maybe I should use a brush. I'm just going to use that same brush and see how that looks, like see how it applies with a brush instead. Yeah, like I don't feel like that did anything at all with a brush. Okay, I much prefer how these look applied with the fingers. Okay, so I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup and then I'll come back and I'll share my final thoughts with you. All right, as soon as I said I was going to finish off my makeup, this one decided she wanted to crack a wobbly. So I think I'm going to just skip that and give you my final thoughts. So all in all, I think this is a fantastic palette. It retails for $12.95, I believe, so extremely affordable, and you can get a complete look out of it. The highlighters, they're not going to be super pigmented, you know, like blinding highlighters, but that's not really my style anyway. I prefer more of a subtle highlight, and that's definitely what these give. One thing I will say about the formula though is it doesn't dry down completely. So if you don't like that tacky feeling, or if you want them to last a really, really long time, then I would recommend setting with powder. But I've worn them a bunch of times and I haven't noticed that they wear off super quickly. They don't wear off weird and patchy at all. But yeah, it's mainly if you want them to last like all day, then just set them with powder or layer with powder products. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't already. That would be amazing. But other than that, thanks again and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.